Okay, this is video number 8 in a series. That last part was funny. Okay, this is video 8 number in a series, and today is Tuesday, February the 9th, 2021. It's 11:49 p.m. I got chicken soup cooking on the stove. The title of this video, this is 8 in a series, if I don't know if I said that yet or not. The title of this video is Passive Aggression versus Raw Aggression. The archetypes I'm using are Conan the Barbarian versus George Costanza's mother / Edith Bunker / the church lady from Saturday Night Live. The subtitle is The Church Lady is a Demonic Spirit That Comes from Hell. Okay? So like I was saying, with raw aggression, there's not that much to talk about. You know, the village is on fire. The sheriff of the town comes around. What happened? Conan the Barbarian was here. And he's like, man, we got to chase that bozo again. Man, we're really going to get him this time. You know, and of course they don't get him because he's Conan the Barbarian, you know. So, but the point is, it's very simple, it's very straightforward. Passive aggression is, it's like, okay, who doesn't feel good? What's going on? Why is everybody crying? You know, who doesn't feel good? And like 8 people raise their hands. Okay, what's wrong? We don't know. Well, what happened? We don't know. With passive aggression, nobody really knows what's going on, you know? And if you do have a really like intuitive empath in the group, and you ask them to explain it to you, like 9 times out of 10, the person that receives the explanation is just going to be like, what? I don't understand. What's that got to do with anything? I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't know what I'm talking about. And if you do know what I'm talking about, then you do, right? If you can give me an amen and say you know what I'm talking about, I'd be very grateful, because honestly, the insidious nature of passive aggression is still with me a little bit. I still have a little tiny inkling in my mind that's like, am I crazy for thinking this? You know, that's the nature of passive aggression. It's like you injure the person and you leave them feeling like, number one, they're crazy for thinking they're injured. And number 2, it's their fault that they're injured. I mean, passive aggression is like a complete wrap up. It's like a complete, if you want to destroy a person, passive aggression is a complete wrap up. It's like you wreck them and then you leave and they're wrecked. I mean, they're like trapped inside of a web of destruction. And they're like in this bubble, this spinning bubble, and they can't get out to explain to anybody what happened. And if God help them, if somebody does break through that skin of the bubble and receive the explanation, there's an excellent chance that the person who receives the explanation won't even understand the explanation. So, I mean, passive aggression is a complete wrap-up, okay, in terms of destroying people. So what this has to do with us today is that, we have reportedly, if you believe it, I don't know if you believe it, I don't know if I believe it, but I'm just saying reportedly, we have 275,000 Chinese troops surrounding the country, 50,000 in Canada, 275,000 in Mexico. Do you believe it? Do I believe it? I don't know. But it's reported by some people to be true. That is raw aggression. Passive aggression is, wear a mask. Just put on your mask. Don't worry about it. Just do it. It's for other people. You're helping other people. See, that's passive aggression, right? You hear the Edith Bunker, you hear the George Costanza, you hear the church lady. It's a demonic spirit. You know, never mind the 34,000 doctors that signed a letter that said this coronavirus nonsense is absurd. It's ridiculous. It's like they don't even understand. You know, of course they do understand. Bill Gates wants to sell 100 billion doses of vaccines, one for every person on the planet. Supposedly, they act like they know how many people there are. I'm not convinced they do. But anyway, let's just say 7 billion people times one a month for a year. That's 7 times 12 is 84. You know, whatever the regimen turns out to be. Bill Gates has said 1 and you're done. And then he says, oh no, you need 1, then you need a booster. And then he says, oh no, you'll probably need several. And then he says, oh no, you'll probably need 1 a month for a couple of years. I mean, it's like every time he opens his mouth, he just says whatever he's thinking at the moment, you know. So he's always scratching his head like, maybe like 1 a month for 2 years. No. You know, if we say 1 a month for 3 years, that'll be a lot more money for me. So let's go with 1 a month for 3 years, you know. And like I said, every time he opens his mouth, I guess it's just however powerful he's feeling at the time he's given that interview, You know, so he just wants to sell 100 billion. Beyond, nobody wants to say that, right? Because it's not politically correct. So, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. I mean, and it's actually, that's like an understatement. It's actually much, much more than that. But there's a whole ecosystem of objectives, you know, surrounding these vaccines, and the masks are the segue into the vaccines, and the passive-aggressive destruction of the person, of the individual, is the methodology to keep the masks in force. Okay? So, again, there's like a micro application where if you have a person in your life who is a controller, who's a power freak, who maybe just out of habit, maybe they're not that concerned about power. Maybe they just grew up in a passive aggressive home, you know. So that's all they know. So that's what they do, and they just kind of curiously observe the fact that it gets them power and it's kind of fun, and because power is fun. I mean, you know, making people do what you want them to do is fun. You know, I mean, it's addictive. You know, but they're not really into it, but it just happens and they don't know any other way to do it, you know. So you have different kinds of people, you know. But if they use this technique, if you understand the technique and you understand how insidious and deadly it can be, then you know that you need to do something about it, and you know that it's urgent. And knowing those two things will be pretty good catalyst to helping you figure out what it is you need to do, you know. And if you don't know, then you're like a kitten in a brown paper bag. I mean, you're defenseless. I mean, you're literally defenseless. If you know, you're still kind of defenseless because it's insidious. It's like cancer. Just because you know what cancer is and what you can do to avoid it, that doesn't mean you're not going to get it, right? But at least you have awareness. At least you can do some things, you know, stop eating so much sugar and, you know, food dye and packaged food or whatever, smoking, whatever, you know, whatever you think, spending time in the sun, whatever you think gives you cancer, riding in the car with automobile tires. I mean, whatever you think gives you cancer, you know, you can do things, you know, but if you're not even aware that cancer is a thing, you know, then you're helpless, you know. So the objective is to help people not be helpless, you know. I think my brother was helpless, you know, and I think the reason he was helpless was because he tried to solve this problem with alcohol, you know, and that's like a dead-end street, you know. It doesn't solve a problem, it masks a problem, right? I tried to solve the problem with sleeping, which turns into depression, you know. So that didn't go anywhere. That goes nowhere fast. So yeah, so there's that, but then there's also the macro application when people come at you like, oh, you know, we're just taking away your human rights because we love you. Oh, and we're taking away your human rights because we're protecting those people over there. You know, those people you don't care about because you're so... I had a lady at church tell me, you're so cold-hearted. These old people, this is and she's talking to me like a baby voice, even though it's like well, she does talk in a baby voice to begin with. But anyway, she's a quintessential, stereotypical church lady, right? Even though it was over Facebook Messenger. Oh, he just sounds so cold-hearted. And like, from the first exchange I had with her, I thought her name was Sarah. I thought she was another Sarah, who is a nurse, who's an extraordinarily nice lady that I like very much. I thought she was that Sarah, the one that I know. I didn't know she was this other Sarah. I mean, I know who this other Sarah is, but I don't actually know her. You know what I mean? I probably said hello to her. I don't think we've ever had a conversation. Okay, let me go to number 9 rather. Okay, this is Tuesday, January 9th, 2021, 11:59 p.m. Chicken cooking on the stove. This video title is Passive Aggression versus Aggression. Archetypes being used are Conan the Barbarian versus George Costanza's mother / Edith Bunker / the church lady from Saturday Night Live. Subtitle is The Church Lady is a Demonic Spirit from Hell. End of video number 9. I'll be right back.